Liz, I think the biggest question I have for you guys is why not? Why not?
Yeah.
Really?
I think the first thing that players will see once they get their hands on the raid is that it's not a heroic mission, it's not a challenging mission, it's not an incursion.
Alright people, we're doing a live viewing of the Division 2 special reports on Operation Hard Towers for the raid. Let's just hear what these guys are going to say. Since the servers are down, I wasn't able to jump on the game. But let's see if they give us any news as we listen in.
The raid, you have to be able to analyze and communicate around what is happening. So the communication between the team is really going to go from the very moment they put the squad together to beating the bosses, like analyzing, planning, and execution. So in that regard, and we also noticed that we did a lot of protesting, internal testing, and we quickly noticed that whenever there is just one player not fulfilling his role, that really improves the whole experience, and usually the teams don't stand a chance to beat the fight they're started. So, of course, it's something that has been in our conversation from the very beginning. It's not just something new to us. We know that we completely understand that a lot of people want to put their hands on it, but we want to deliver a proper solution that won't generate frustration and that will be a proper, thoughtful matchmaking.
Yeah, well, that was kind of my next question, because I kind of understand that it makes sense that this conversation can be ongoing. It's not going to be in right now. Is it going to? Are we going to have some solution where?
I don't know, a lot of people whining about, and I say whining about this matchmaking because I think it worked perfectly fine for Destiny,
as I said,
that you just gathered with people that
you need to be
you
sure
play
that
with
you
normally.
work with
I definitely don't want to play with no randoms.
The proper gear to support the team. So it's really about. It's not about a simple matchmaking as we do for the mission. A mission or any other content. Eventually, you can play with
Oh
random,
yeah, man, thank you for
and
that, Hank.
You will manage to beat that content.
Forgot about the
For
music.
the raid, if we deliver such a matchmaking, it will be tougher, if not impossible, for you.
Sorry about
to
that, guys. Good catch,
You were saying
Hank.
there's even been some. I know you mentioned earlier, Sebastian. There's been some tensions in the office when you've grouped up for this raid. Is it as punishing as you're leading me to believe?
Yeah, it is punishing. We really want the players to feel they're facing like a challenge that they never faced before in the division. And just because of that, you have to be sure that your 8 players will react the good way. They understand their role, they are able to do it, and they will communicate the good way. So just because of that, it's highly possible that just a simple matchmaking won't be enough to let you play the raid.
Yeah, that's the reality right there, man.
Frustrating just because of that.
You don't want to be
When we
frustrating
saw
when
it
you're
in
playing with
person
people with
first
no
game,
comms,
it
no
was
mics,
still
no
a
communication.
content that
It'll ruin the
you can
game.
Complete with random.
It'll
random
ruin the
group,
raid.
but we already noticed that a lot of groups would kick players because they were not
Yeah.
meeting the gear score.
No, I remember that being a big thing. We got a lot of complaints that people were saying, I got kicked right at the end, or like I got kicked halfway through it. I didn't know what was happening, or all that sort of thing. So I understand where you guys are coming from. I think it's important, and I mentioned this yesterday to the people on the stream, that we do actually want to keep having these conversations with you. If you've been around the stream or part of the Division community, we like talking about this stuff. I think it's important that we know what you guys are thinking, and we know what's coming from the community as well, because then we can make informed decisions together. I think that's really important. So thank you for being clear and honest. TLDR for the people who missed it. It's intended that there will be no matchmaking at the launch of the raid, but the team are working on finding a more dedicated solution to make that a meaningful way to find a group in the game.
Exactly.
Is that fair to say?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. We wanted to get all of that on the record before we really kicked off this stream. But for those of you who don't know anything that's going on with the raid and all of that, we do have a trailer that we're going to show you right now, and we're going to be back to talk more about everything in Operation Dark Hours. We'll see you in just a second.
Alright, hopefully no spoilers. This looks like the same trailer from before. Am I gonna be doing a co-op stream? Yeah, I'm gonna probably be streaming with Mangry Gamer. So yeah, we'll be on there tonight. We got to meet up at 10 p.m. East Coast, and we should have 8 people. If we have more than 8 people, it'll be fine because we're not anticipating to run the entire raid tonight. But we just definitely want to get in there and get our little taste of it. So we'll probably rotate out if we have more people, just to make sure that everybody who does show up gets a chance at it.
All right. So, like I said before, we're going to be here talking about all of the things in the creation of Operation Dark Hours, the Division 2's first ever raid. And I was psyched when we announced that at E3 last year, and I can't believe that actually we are pretty close. I think 50 minutes away from the raid going live. You guys nervous?
Wow,
Or excited?
50
Or
minutes.
of everything? Or
That means
It's
12
kind of
p.m.
stressful, you know, we're
East
going to
Coast.
get live, and that's really what we're waiting for, because eventually when it's in the hands of player, we're
That's
just going
nuts.
to get flooded with feedback, and that's exactly what we want, because it's, you know, it's a back and forth.
I don't know. How do you guys feel about this
conversation to
time for
understand
them
what
to
they like,
launch it?
what they don't like, and
Sure.
you know, how we can improve
Yeah,
the
come
future.
right
We're gonna
on
be
in,
more
Hank.
into
Yes.
The
We're
more the
getting
merrier.
ahead of ourselves, but
Yesterday
like, I
we
think we're
counted and we
focusing on,
counted
you know,
at
raids,
least
singular.
at
So there's
least
raids.
No, I
8
think
to
it's always
11
like,
people.
raids in the game. And
So,
it's
like
never
I said,
secret,
we'll
but,
rotate
there will
out
be more.
Good to know. So
and
let's,
give
also,
everybody a
I
chance
know
to get
I
in
asked you if
there
you're nervous, but you
and
said there's
play
lots of
with
people back in
DFG.
watching, in the studio.
Yes.
Alright.
If we can just.
That's why I formed the clan,
Hey,
because
I'm
I kind of knew
Yeah,
that they
actually, the
weren't
whole
going
team
to
is,
be doing
probably watching the
matchmaking,
stream in the
which
cafeteria
I'm
as we speak.
totally in
Well, they probably
agreement
just
with.
did
I'd rather
that
again
to
play
Yeah.
with
Yeah, I mean,
people
they've
that I
been
know
passionate,
than
working on
just
that content
random
for
people.
months, and, you know,
You're
it's
gonna
not
need the
live,
comms,
and
you're gonna need to
they're waiting to play
communicate,
it as well, because,
strategize.
you know, they're all
People
players,
gonna have to
they
play
really
their
love,
roles.
what they do,
So-
and, yeah, we're all excited about.
I'm excited, man.
Tell
I'm
me more
pumped.
about the raid experience, because you were chatting a little bit about that earlier.
Yeah.
The team actually there. We'll get to that later in the stream, but I wanted to kind of wind things back a little bit to Division 1. You talked, you worked on the incursions,
Yes.
Falcon Lost, and Stolen Signal.
Mhm.
And I think it's fair to say that over that time, those incursions are pretty different from each other.
Yes.
What would you say the
Very
key
much.
differences are and the things we learned? in
Oh,
the
that
process
must
from
be my
Falcon
brother
Lost
from the other night.
Uh,
Yeah, D message.
So,
It still says
the
that
main-
it's co-streaming
major
with
feedback we
him.
received from
He must have
Falcon
left
was
his
that
on.
Eventually, it felt
I'll
closer
touch
to
bases
Horde
with
mode
him.
than what people were expecting, because let's say the sort of puzzle mechanic that we had was very simple. You had to kill specific enemies,
Mhm.
get the C4, plant it on the APC, and repeat multiple times. So, and also it was just in a single room, so you know there was not that sense of progression toward this final very epic objective.
Sure.
So that's something that we started to address before Stolen Signal, in Dragon's Nest, for instance. And in Stolen Signal, we took a different approach, where we looked at how we could push the player toolbox and how it could.
Stolen Signal was really
So we
good.
looked at the
I
skills,
mean, in my
and
opinion,
we tried to
it was
design
closer to
situations where
quote a
we would,
raid.
incentivize
than,
player to
than anything
use
that they
those
had in
skills a
D1.
very, specific way. So it started to have some puzzle ingredients, but they were really focused around the player, whereas now it's something different.
Yeah, Sebastian, from a design perspective, with Stolen Signal, is there anything that jumps out to you or that you remember as a key memory when you were, I don't know, I imagine that you watched a bunch of players
Yeah.
play through Stolen Signal. Are there any mechanics in there that you particularly enjoyed watching players come up against?
I don't know. I really enjoyed that when we discovered that the players were playing some of the beats in a totally different way from what we designed it. That was like, okay, it's not expected, but that's cool. You know, they were not cheating or not breaking the game. They were just playing it a different way, and that was super cool to see, actually. And yeah, the main difference with as Shady said, for the raid is like now we worked mainly on the boss behavior, boss design, and not on what the player can do. So
I think that's really cool.
All right,
particularly
man.
remember
I would tell you have a
being
good time, but you're at the dentist.
pretty challenged, and I found it super fun when you had
Thanks for chilling.
the gunner at the end mission. You had to get multiple shields
Yes.
out. That was super cool. Anyone who hasn't experienced that,
Mhm.
I mean, I still
Yeah,
recommend
that
going back
the
to
end
it.
of Stolen Signal was really cool. Figuring that
so-
out with the
Is there anything? Let's
with the
jump forward
shields
to the
and
brief
stuff.
that you guys got for before Operation Dark Hours, when whoever comes to you, I don't know, in that process, and they say we want you to create a raid, what did they lay out for you?
Well, as I said, I think it was natural continuity after the incursions. You know, we all knew that we wanted to head toward the raid, so everyone was on the same page regarding.
Oh, it's just a cleaning cool.
You know, when you think of a raid, when you say just raid, there are a few things that.
I'll talk to you later, man.
Like a large squad, epic moments, epic bosses. The location as well needs to stand out, and the most important is the combat puzzle.
Let me see if I can send an invite real quick to one of my friends that jumped on.
Dealing damage
to
to
chat.
enemies, but it's understanding what is going on, how the different ingredients in the fight are interacting with each other, and how you can
he invited
interfere
me.
with this in order to beat the boss. So that's really the three pillars we worked on.
Jay, lower the
pillars,
volume on your
the,
side, brother.
Epic side of everything that we're putting in the
Oh, I
raid,
did.
and
What's going on? Special
more
report.
elaborate.
Yeah, just watching the
mechanics.
special report now,
Yeah.
man. Just making
Go
some
into
comments
the
as they talk.
elaborate and the challenge side of the
Server is down until 12.
What are some of the things that you've done to try and make?
Oh,
them
really?
without
Yeah,
being
the
specific,
raid
you don't wanna
is
make
at
sure
12
all
o'clock.
This is spoiler free. That's
Are you
very,
kidding?
very important.
Yeah, 12 p.m.
This is the
Eastern
whole
time.
First thing that we're trying to
Yeah.
do, we want to make sure that people who watch the stream don't have
Oh, I
compare
sent you
time.
something, by the way.
That's right.
Okay, I'll check it
And
out
also
in a
I think
minute.
a lot of people want to experience this for the first time, spoiler free as well. But how do you make an experience that we've never made
I'm
before?
liking that
They
shirt,
play.
brother. Look at
What's going on, V Gaming? Thank you for the follow. Welcome to Drama Free Gaming. Appreciate you. Hey, at V Gaming, if you ain't got a clan to jump into already for Division 2, not sure if you're playing or not,
And so you will
come
face
hook up with us on our
some behavior or
Discord,
some
and
mechanics
the
that
more the
you will
merrier.
face
We're
before.
definitely going to be on tonight at 10 p.m.
That means
Eastern
that you will have
time.
to analyze them, understand them, and only after you will be able to cooperate.
Yeah,
with the
just
raid
answered the question,
to
right?
Counter the different mechanic
know,
and to
right?
be able to beat the boss.
That's cool, man. That's cool. It's going to be a
It's
good
really like
time.
step by step that you can.
We got
progress
about
in
11
time.
heads
And at the end,
confirmed
you'll be
tonight, so we're going to be swapping in and out.
It's very a new approach.
Oh, you got
Oh,
two
that's
spaces
like
left.
the division.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Well, if you hit us up,
cooperation
maybe we
is
can
also
collaborate.
super Important. I posed
Yeah,
a
I'm
question
down.
to you earlier before the stream. I'm sure someone is going to go in and be like, let's run 8 demolitions, right?
Oh,
I mean, someone's going to do it.
They can
Yeah.
try that.
Do you foresee that those people will have a more difficult time, or
That's a good question.
what's how are those?
If
guys
everybody
going?
just goes in there with
Figure out.
firepower, let's see.
You can beat the
yeah,
content
everybody gets done here.
regardless your group composition. But if you have a mix of all the specialization and a good mix of different skills, it will be easier for you.
Okay.
So it's not impossible to do it with only the machinist or with no sharpshooter at all.
All right, brother, we'll do.
But sometimes it will be easier if you had.
Okay. All right.
I'm loving that
Yeah.
it's not matchmaking. I'm loving that you can get together with real people and you're going to have to strategize and talk and not just everybody running around like a, you know,
You spoke a little bit about combat.
like commando.
Yeah.
Thank you for the host, man. Appreciate it.
How can
Yeah, well,
players kind of
everybody's gonna have
figure
to
them
have
out?
their role.
Yeah.
You gotta
Too many
figure out.
tips, but
Yep, yep, yep.
when you put in a puzzle
Like the
into
old
a game,
days,
is
that's
it something
right.
that we are gonna, by chance figure out, or
I mean, whether you're PvE or PvP,
So the-
you know,
the
comms
principal
is
aspect
necessary,
of that,
especially in
first
games
thing,
like this. That's just
you know,
my
we-
opinion.
we're-
That's
we're
how it was
designing
in
the raid, but
Destiny.
still within the,
That's how raids are
division
designed.
universe, so it's a realistic
I have no
environment.
problem with it.
It's
You know, if you get a
related, it
knucklehead
has
or a troll, you just
real
ban
world
them. That's all.
logic,
You
let's
keep
say,
it
so,
moving.
You know, it's
Yeah,
not like
don't harp on it.
invisible shields or stuff like that.
Yeah.
that you trigger
Sometimes, you know,
or
people
there-
want
there-
it
there
dumbed
will
down
be,
so much that
some
it ruins the
information
experience.
mechanics when you start a fight, so you
All right, you
need
got to fly
really
around,
be,
try to find those 2 extras.
um,
Cool, no
careful
problem,
into
man. Thank you for
looking,
just popping in.
all the different ingredients
Appreciate the
and,
follow, appreciate the
what's
host.
happening around you, but there are, of course, ways for you to understand what you're supposed to do.
okay, so pay attention.
Yes.
All right, good to know. The location. I want to talk a little bit about that because we got
Yeah, man,
about
back at you.
41 minutes before the raid goes live. The
Time flies.
the location
Man,
is
I'm
obviously
pumped.
The airport.
Yes.
This is
How did
gonna
you
be-
decide
this is gonna
that
be awesome.
that this would be the first raid?
So we wanted to
I'm surprised they're doing
bring
like an
in
emergency.
a new
like,
location that has never been
Yeah.
used in
State of the game.
division.
They did
And,
announce that they were going to do
it still
something
takes
today.
place in the same world.
I think
So
they're
we're
just
in
filling in the
Washington,
time, you
we
know,
have the
while they
Blacklist,
work
which
on the
is
server.
the entire city, and we wanted
Yeah,
to
I know, right?
develop on that side of the narrative. So the Black Tusk actually are occupying that location to support their invasion into DC. So it was really a mix of fitting with the context of the Black Tusk, but also it's kind of tricky to find good locations for raids because we need like a proper environment for 8 players. As I said, we want something that is new and you don't feel like you've already
This is gonna
already
be, this
seen
raid
it.
is
So
gonna be ridiculous.
we've quickly find this environment. We've explored some other options, but I'm not going to spoil because, as we said, there are going to be future raids. So maybe
Who is
we'll see
Hank,
those
baby?
locations in the future. But yeah,
He's
for
in
us,
our
it was,
Discord.
all of those ingredients made that airport a good
okay.
fit to support the first raid.
And Sebastian, you guys
You just
obviously
hear what
do-
he said. He said they didn't want to spoil because there's going to be other
I guess over the past year
raids.
you've been
So that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Just like the incursion.
Now,
Yeah.
Are you looking at it through the
Have
right
multiple
lens?
of
That could be a
those.
cover. That could be a cover. That could
I
be a
wouldn't
cover.
mind having
How does your
it too.
experience
Mhm.
in a real life airport, I guess, inform your design decisions, or does it?
It's not in that level of detail, but yeah, sometimes you just see an element that is used in the raid and it's like, it's close to what you did actually. So yeah, it's
You forget to say that
Yeah.
actually yesterday when we flew to Malmö.
So this
so
raid
we flew
is
from
going to be in
Geneva,
an airport.
and
So it's
we
going
had
to be
walk
probably
on the
inside the
tarmac
terminal,
to go
outside
to,
on the actual
to the-
strip.
to the aircraft.
That's
So
going to be dope.
we took
I'm
the
just
train
wondering
from here,
what
that's,
time
uh,
it's
yeah,
going
good
to
for
take
them.
to accomplish.
No?
And if there's going to be checkpoints. I'm wondering if that's going to be
There's obviously challenges
something.
as well when you're picking.
Yeah. See, I'm guessing it's probably
location,
gonna be
I'd imagine.
you
Especially
fight
with
your
the
way
airport.
into the airport.
Let's talk a little bit about
team
the
splits up,
research side.
you
of
keep
stuff,
fighting,
because
Mhm.
and then you all
time
meet up and probably
we
do
do
battle on
anything
like a
for the
runway or
division
something.
has to be heavily researched,
Yes.
especially because we're making a real world game. We don't have a fantasy setting where we can just use this.
Yeah, there's still a lot of question marks. Like, what kind of
When you're researching a place
raid
that you can't
mechanics as far as like, is it going to be one where somebody holds aggro and the rest of the team has to protect them? The puzzles,
Well,
the
fortunately,
enemies,
you can find a few references
the
online, so of
boss,
course,
quote
on the map
unquote,
you have
if there's
the,
gonna be,
high-level layout,
you know,
so, you can look at how the
different section
airport
boss
is,
or
is
one
built
big
from a
boss at the
high-level point
end.
of view. There
That's
are
gonna be cool.
some images that you can find.
I
that,
wonder what kind of boss is
um,
gonna be at the end of boss.
Yeah.
really allowed us to identify the very specific architecture of that airport. We didn't go to that airport ourselves because it happened way after the proper research trip that we did. But it's so we can recreate those elements where we get strong references, and for the rest of it, it's building around the tropes of the airport. You have conveyor belts, you have duty frees, and then we didn't want to explore only the public areas because whenever you go to an airport, you go through those areas. But what we like to do in the division when we use a location, we try to push it behind the scene and allow players to go into areas that you usually don't go into.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because like I mentioned before, this must be huge security. Like, there mustn't be blueprints online for these airports.
No,
There's
I don't
nothing
think so.
that you can.
No, but you can find references for conveyor belts. You can
Sure.
find references for hangars where there is the maintenance of the plane. So it's piecing all the stuff together. We also have
That's
the
cool.
creative service at Ubisoft, that help us do the research. We have Chloe in the building here who helped us a lot, researching very specific details such as what would happen in an airport in the scenario of the division when everything shuts down. So it's a mix of references, research, and also, as you said, our personal experience. Just flying around the world and looking at the different airports.
You mentioned before that you were having some issues finding.
Oh, that's gonna be
was
crazy.
it a control tower?
Yeah, that's going to be really cool.
I couldn't quite find the right reference for it, or.
Yeah, we were looking for how to design control tower. I'm not going to spoil why, but that day I was stuck in Vienna airport. I was flying back from Sofia, who are actually helping us on the raid as well. And I had that Vienna control
man.
tower in front
That
of me.
means
and
we
I was
gotta,
like,
when we
it
doing
could,
all
it
this, we
could
gotta
fit our
find
needs.
out
And I sent the
who's
picture
gonna be
to
what
the
tonight.
team
That's gonna
as a
be
reference.
interesting.
So that's the personal experiences brought into
Yeah,
the game.
tonight
Yeah,
is
I
really
know
going to be for
people
us
have already
to
posted
just
online
get in there and kind
why
of
it's
dip our
called
toe
Dark
into it.
Towers. I mean, I assume
At least,
whenever-
find out
whenever,
you-
we put out a
how to
piece of
get
content,
in
it has a
and
name, it's
what we can expect.
why is it called Dragon's? Why is it called Star
Who are
Wars?
the major 8 we're
Um,
gonna run with?
Why is it called Dark?
wanna
You,
know?
me, Kyle,
I
Bobby
don't.
should be on.
I don't know if Chet knows.
No,
Pops,
I don't think there's a lot
Mangry,
of people actually,
Ace,
who knows
and
the
we got,
story
I think,
behind it,
3
but
more.
This airport, if you look in real life where it's located, it inspires
Paco
from a
might
real
jump
life
on.
Airport. It has
Well,
the name of
he's
an
not.
actor.
He's not on World Tier 5.
So we looked at
Yeah, no,
the
no.
different
He's,
movies.
Yeah, and he's been
this
490
actor was
and having
featured in,
type
and we
movies.
came
Yeah.
up with Dark Hours. That is the name of one of his movies, and also because it's not like, okay, let's look at the names and oh yeah, let's pick this one. It fits with the Black Tusk, with the context of the invasion in DC, and we thought it was a nice.
yeah, guys, if you guys are lurking, appreciate you being
nice,
here. Yeah,
Easter egg,
as far as us here at Drama Free Gaming, we're going to be experiencing the raid tonight at 10 p.m. East Coast. So if you ain't have a clan and you want to hang out with a real chill, cool community, check us out on our Discord.
What's going on?
And we can make
this
arrangements,
also applies to game design, I imagine,
not only
because
for
you have to
tonight, but for
put
future
forth
nights moving
the
forward.
narrative that,
All
that
you gotta
the
do is
team's
reach
trying
out.
to Put out. Can you tell us a little bit, Sebastian, about what narrative points you've tried to put across so the players can understand what the Black Tusk are getting up to?
It's
Brother, it is funny
not easy to explain without
having our
spoiling
conversation
anything,
and
but
watching it play back on TV.
basically you will go to the airport to
It's like we're
watch
superstars or something, right?
deploying something that you really
Yeah,
don't want to see
right.
deployed,
Cool.
I watched the gameplay
and
video
everything
of us
will
playing
go
yesterday.
wrong.
Oh
Basically.
yeah.
Okay.
And,
Yeah, every time I watch it and I
can't
see
say
what you
much.
do versus what
Well,
I do,
I think
it's
what we
really
can say is, so of course there's a narrative background and there's some story in the raid, but eventually
It's like
you know that
synchronized
not
swimming.
every player are going to
yeah, like
complete the
I
raid,
definitely
and
realized that
you know the players that
secret
really
mods
care
were
about the
great for helping
story
I
we
realized.
cannot afford
Mhm.
to throw some important narrative delivery in the raid, otherwise they would be frustrated, and
That makes
and
sense.
eventually the raid is first and foremost about the gameplay.
I might be
challenge.
mixing it up and
Anyway,
trying,
still a
depending on
good
how things
opportunity
go.
for the players to learn
I might be doing
everything
the
that
healing
Black Tusk is
hive.
capable of.
Mhm.
You got to
We-
get your
let's
charge.
do a
You got to
quick
find
time
a
check.
charge one that gets your
33
triggers
minutes.
really high.
Well, I got a bunch of
Raid goes live. Still, yeah,
mods
you guys-
and
you guys seem
stuff,
cool.
so
I mean, not
Yeah.
nervous at all
I would,
about that.
I would definitely
about the
recommend
button
high
mashing
charge,
being pressed. It's,
uh,
it's gonna be
duration,
fine.
and
I,
heat.
I have the utmost faith in you and all the people upstairs.
Because I think base
Alright,
healing
let's
is
talk a
like
little bit about
25.
the practicalities.
yeah, I haven't messed with that. I
and
check it out.
A little bit about how these things were put together.
I mean,
but
a healing hive would be great. You tell
I really
everybody
want
stay
to
in this
soon
one
go
area and
into
fight till it
exactly
runs out.
how players will experience it. But I bugged you.
In a,
Yeah, I think a lot of the skills and
and
stuff's
you
gonna be
didn't love this quick.
situational.
To put together a video.
People gonna have to
about
be
your
switching,
shooting.
and that's
Yeah.
another thing. I don't know
No, we
if
love that.
once you're in the
Loved it,
raid,
yeah.
you'll be able to
Wasn't
switch
super late at all.
out your gear.
Just so I want to make sure that everyone
I
knows
don't
that
see why
we have a
not.
lot of Code Studios.
I don't
But,
remember if in Destiny you could do that,
Here in Malmo.
so I'm wondering
I
how
wouldn't
they're
be
gonna do it
surprised if
here.
you could switch.
And see, we've had you on things before, but I wanted to
You see,
show people.
I'm built. I'm trying to
little
build
bit
for
about
every
your studio
contingent.
and the people
Yeah,
that work.
but,
So we're
you
gonna take
know,
a look at the video that they
Remember,
use,
when you
and
build for
we'll
one
get
thing,
into
and
moments with more
you
information
could be a
about
jack of all trade, but
everything
I think it's gonna be
that
more
you
focused
see
on
in
a specialty and you holding down your job. Let's check out what these guys
Hi,
gonna do
my
here.
name is Rebecca Crotaz. I'm the studio manager at Ubisoft Annecy. We are based at the bottom of the Alps in France. We're a passionate and
Ubisoft
talented
is
team
killing
who
it.
have been able to contribute to many titles in the Ubisoft group since 1996. We worked and developed the multiplayer for Splinter Cell, for the multiplayer Assassin's Creed, and we have been able to create our own IP for the group called Steep, which is an open world action sports game. Most
Brother,
recently,
do you need
we
a
also
cup
have
that
been
big?
able to work on Tom Clancy The Division.
Yeah, man.
A great adventure.
That's
for
my
us
comical
since
cup here for the
2014, being
stream.
able to contribute to
Cut it back down to one cup a day.
One of the
This
first
brother
knowledge
got
we had
one
in Division 1 was to
I
build
try to
a
drink
world.
2 of
We
these a
started
day,
populating
man,
the
but it's
world
water,
with
people.
civilians and animals,
Oh, look at
making
this
sure
one.
that they were making sense in the context of our universe. From stray dogs and rats to wandering civilians, our work strongly contributed
New
to
York,
create a believable
New
and
York.
relatable world. When Division 2 kicked off, we continued the collaboration with our partners. We wanted to take the concept of urban life further, making sure that each individual in the world had a true purpose.
Since 2014, the mission team in ANSI has been designing some of the story missions together with Massive and Reflection.
See, I would
In
love
Division 1, we have
cross
delivered
paths. That would be
5 of them. And this first collaboration allowed the team to really absorb the brand and to grow as one of the major partners on the project. When the Division 2's development started, we naturally brought back this expertise to the table and helped with the story missions again. We've delivered 5 more, including American History Museum, Air and Space Museum, and District Union Arena, just to name a few. But ANSI has also been a test bed for further experimentations. During the first year of post-launch for the Division 1, we have been developing 2 incursions, Falcon Lost and Stolen Signal. In the Division 2, we wanted to take those a bit further.
From the feedback we had from players, we knew they were expecting for something bigger and much more challenging, something that could engage them deeply as a team. So we came up with the idea
Bringing
of
them
a
back.
raid. What is new about it is that it has been designed
Every
for
time
8
that I
players.
see that
So we have
fly
8
over, it's so
players,
cool.
8 agents banded together with high-level gear, great coordination and team play.
Wow.
The raid is the toughest challenge on the game to date.
Without revealing too much, the raid features new gameplay mechanics and enemy
My wife
behavior
is heading out. I'll
that
be
will
right
push
back.
the intensity of this experience even further. You will find new puzzles to solve, secrets to uncover, and some good old-fashioned gunfights, because after all, this is a raid done Division style. You will still need to optimize your gear, organize your team, fight tactically, and use the environment to your advantage. So organize your clan, get 7 of your closest friends, and get ready for the biggest challenge of your Division life. Good luck, agents.
I have my first question after seeing that is the team hiring in ANSI?
You want to come to ANSI?
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's insane. But no, but seriously, are you hiring?
Yes,
I
we
know a
are.
lot of people ask in chat.
Yes,
Yeah.
we do.
How can they find job listings?
Go to the Ubisoft career website.
Okay.
That is one avenue.
Right.
And we're often posting on LinkedIn as well.
Okay. Just for people in chat, are you looking for any specific positions that you know of? Or is that more of an HR question that you don't know the answer to?
We're looking into multiple roles, but we're always looking for environment artists, level designers, for instance.
Okay. Cool. Good to know. All right. I just like putting the news out there. So if there are level designers or environment artists in chat, do you know and want to move to
Animators,
France? There you go.
yeah.
That'd be cool. Yeah. Lots of good positions in ANSI. I'll be staying here because you aren't looking for one of me. Okay. Let's get back to Operation Dark Hours, which is looking like 28 minutes-ish away. There it is. 27 and a half minutes until your raid goes live. Still looking cool. Guys.
Yeah.
It's cool. All right.
Very stressed inside.
Yes. Prerequisites for getting into the raid. What do people need to have completed, or other requirements they need to have met to be eligible?
So you have to be level max, world tier 5, gear score 490, just to go to the helipad pilot in the BO to unlock the raid. Once you unlocked it, you can build your raid and start it with all the players you invited and who already unlocked the raid, else you won't be able to invite them.
Yes. And you have to have completed Tidal Basin, which we would assume you will have.
Which
done
leads you to world tier 5 actually.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'm so stupid. How? So the helicopter pilot. There are other ways that you can also get there. We'll talk about that in the kind of
All right,
user
I'm back.
flow a little bit later on.
Welcome back.
Let's imagine that we're there. We've fulfilled all the requirements and we've managed to get into the raid, landed, and we're about to start. Can you explain to me a little bit about
You
that
haven't missed
first
anything yet.
fight? What are some of the things you're looking to challenge the players with?
So it's not really the first encounter, but the first boss battle that is that we use as a gear check for the players.
Okay.
So at the very start, we just wanted a gear check, just because for us, from a balancing point of view, it means that you can know that if the player is able to beat this boss, we can play with these other mechanics, damage, balancing, whatever. But from what we learned with the playtest and everything is that it also works as a way to educate the players all together to So because they are able to organize.
You think these specialized gear sets
understanding
are
and the
going to
organization for all
be
the others will be easier for them. So it's not
more
only a
viable
gadget, it's also
here in
a
the
way
raid? Do you
to-
think they were built with
to
the
be
raid in mind?
introduced to the raid in general.
Because it's a completely different dynamic
Probably,
playing with
yeah,
4 players than
100%
playing
honest with you.
with 8, I would imagine.
Yeah, and we are not asking you the same thing in the raid. It's not only fights, it's not only killing enemies, it's also understanding what's happening.
For anyone that thinks that I'm feigning lack of knowledge about this, I haven't seen any of the boss fights in the raid. I also do not. I mean, I know a little bit more than you guys, but not a whole lot actually.
But you're ready
So-
to jump in. You have your character ready, right?
I got my Nemesis blueprint. I've got a build that maybe I could take in there, but we'll see.
See, everybody talk about this Nemesis.
Okay,
What
I
is
don't know if it's
Nemesis?
the
I
other
don't know
one,
what it is,
but
man. I sound foolish
we'll
saying
see.
it, but
You mentioned the first boss fight, or the boss encounter. I don't actually know how it works. So
you have a Nemesis, Jay?
the first boss. That's the gear check. Then there's how many other bosses?
4
It's a
bosses
sniper rifle.
at the-
Oh,
yeah.
sniper
So is that
rifle.
one
It's one of
Okay.
the,
Yes.
All right.
yeah, it's one of the strongest weapons in the
Can
game.
I
That's why I don't know
assume
how to
that
use sniper rifles.
with that gear check that I will be geared
Yeah.
enough to do those other ones, or will
Yes.
I need to grind the second boss until I can complete the
No.
third? Or
If you're able to beat the first boss, so you're able to beat all the other boss.
Mhm.
So it's more about your skill to cooperate with your mates, to understand the fight and to beat them. But you don't need to gear up through the raid. But if you do, it
Okay.
means it will be easier for you.
Cool.
Normally.
Cool,
I think
cool,
it's
cool.
important to say that every boss has been designed around.
So
very
there's
specific
multiple
mechanics and
bosses.
puzzles. So
Mm-hmm.
the difficulty will come
Yeah.
from the renewal of what you knew from the previous boss. And,
I wonder if it's gonna
not
be
because they're going to be they're going to
randomly
be more
generated.
powerful. They're not going to be more powerful. Sorry, it's the challenge that is going to be different, and you will have to start again analyzing planning,
Different
and
mechanics
executing properly.
To
it's
approaching the
basically challenge
bosses.
comes
That's
from
what it is.
a mechanical challenge and a coordination challenge, rather
Yes.
than just inflated DPS
Yes.
or inflated health. Right?
Definitely.
Cool.
So you need to be
This is
more or
gonna
less
be
at the end
crazy.
of the gear score to be able to beat the raid, but you don't need to be like 500 absolutely to beat it, or to be super min-max build. If you meet the requirement, normally you are able to beat the raid.
Okay. And my understanding is that there's a path through, but players will need to explore the thing to get the most out of the raid. Without spoiling what that means, how do players look at their surroundings, I guess, to be better at the encounter?
Brother, you got
Is there
something
anything
playing
else
in the
that you can
background?
be on the lookout for?
Yeah, my
Yeah,
bad.
Okay.
there are
So I'm
some
j- I just could hear
exploration
something.
puzzles as well. There are some surprises hidden here and there. As you said, we don't want to spoil that, but it's not only about. I mean, of course, those fights are very important. But if you want to get everything that you can get from the raid, you have to look in between the different fights as well.
For just going to the player experience, like I would imagine that when I finally jump in, I'd be on the lookout for cues from the game to be able to know what I'm doing mechanically correct or incorrect.
Oh yeah. That's
So
Destiny.
has there been a
Give you
focus
them
on,
cues.
Oh, is that?
making sure that the player knows
Oh, that's a
what they're doing
Destiny cue.
correctly or incorrectly?
Well,
during
I mean, when they're
these
talking about cues, they're
boss
talking about
fights?
like
What kind of feedback?
how,
players look out
like
for?
let's say
Is it
how
audio?
there's something during the
Visual
gameplay,
indicators that something was
like
okay?
like he just said, visual indicators, behaviors of the AI
Audio sometimes.
Yeah.
So,
that kind of give you a hint, like, oh,
really
they're gonna
depend
do
on the
this
boss.
now.
but when we can explain to the players with an audio feedback that is doing something bad or not good enough, when we can use an element in the game, we are doing it. But most of the time, it's like if you are not at the good time, at the good moment, you're gonna be punished, so potentially
Mhm.
killed.
Mhm.
Or the boss will react in a way that he will let you understand that you are not supposed to do that.
Like, you know, like when
So,
you play
like
certain
bosses,
games
something like that,
Yeah.
like
I think
and
it's
you
actually
you
very
play
good
certain
point because the
bosses,
signs and
at a
feedback
point
have
the
been
boss
a
does
major
something where
part
you
of the
know, oh,
conversation
I gotta
because
get away
of
because no
course
matter
there's
what
the
I do, they're not gonna
difficulty
take
of the
damage.
raid, but on the other hand, there's
Yeah.
the level
You know,
of signs
stuff
and
like
feedback
that.
we give you, because if it's too much and we take you by the nose, you know, it's going to be too easy. And on the other hand, if there is not enough feedback, you're going to be frustrated because you won't be understanding why you're failing. So it was a lot of iterations to get that balance.
Yeah, the balance.
That kind of leads me to my next point. There's must be some challenges getting that feedback over to the player. What are some of the other challenges you face putting this together? Obviously,
You see
some big changes between
Hamish's
this
cup,
piece of content and content that's come before in any division.
his coffee cup.
Yes.
Yeah, that thing's
8
nice.
players was,
You see
of
the
course,
symbol
technical
on the
challenge,
side?
but it's also a design challenge.
That's from
But
Division
also
1.
Making sure that it's every player has
See,
a proper
that Carmen
knowledge
coffee
is
shop?
really helping to,
I think
to
it's
deal
at
with the
Carmen or
Oh,
Harmon.
yeah.
which goes a bit hand in hand with the level design. Supporting 8 players in an environment is different from 4 players. So which is coming back to one of the questions you asked, choosing the airport.
Oh,
was
there goes the
an
countdown.
environment that was flexible enough for us.
19
to,
minutes,
scale
people.
The spaces to fit the different needs.
Man, watch the raid is gonna get
The
so
signs and feedback.
The tough part is
very
gonna be,
good
brother,
place.
not
A lot of,
like
a
avoiding
lot of work.
spoilers, because you know there's gonna be people here on
Can we
YouTube,
imagine that, like,
Twitch that are gonna be
you're,
streaming it.
Tech artists, but I'm sure that you've had
Oh
interactions.
man,
with
yeah.
them.
Oh,
adding
yes.
adding
I mean,
former
you
players,
can't
I'm
you
sure
can't
they
help
were
what you can't
pretty
help.
hard on
I
you,
mean,
Yeah.
making sure that the budgets for certain things
so
were
I mean, we
aligned.
know it's out there. We know
How
what's
did those
gonna happen,
conversations go? Were
and
they your best
it
friends,
happened in
or did they
Division
end up
One.
hating you?
We just
Yeah.
go all
Happened in
together on the
Division
ring and we fight.
You know what I mean?
Sometimes you win, sometimes not.
Yeah, that's
The
the
other
reality.
thing that,
I would like to see them
technical
put some incursions
artists have
too.
been highly involved.
Well, I think that
in that.
the
I mean, as
raid
in
is
any
the
content,
evolution
8
of the
players is
incursions.
a
They
lot
have mentioned
more,
that before. Like the incursions were kind of them
demanding
testing the waters and
But
wanting
that's-
to
we
create a
also
raid,
address that with,
but they
as I
couldn't
said,
do
it's
it in
not
the
only about
Division
throwing
One.
enemies at
You know, the tech and
because,
the
you know,
infrastructure
it's
was
also
there,
something
but
technically, constraining
you know, with
for
all
different
the
players.
things that they had to learn
Yeah,
from
but
Division
for us
One,
it was very
it was
good
only
because
a
we
natural
really
progression that
didn't
they
want
brought it
to do
over
that. So
to
of course sometimes
Div
we will
2.
have waves of enemies, but they're here
Yeah.
as an additional ingredient. They're not the main ingredient of the different fights. So by refocusing
I mean,
the
if you
fights
look at
on
the missions that
the
we play
puzzles, the
now, when we
challenges, the
replay them on
post-behavior, we're
challenging,
able,
those are like incursions,
not
if you really want to be
rely
honest.
on, huge
And the
amounts
banners.
of
I mean, the
enemies, all
stronghold,
the
I
time.
guess you could consider
Were there
them
any,
incursions.
Right.
Unique game
So
design.
yeah, I can
challenges
see where
that-
you're coming from.
Yeah,
on
even
that.
the missions that we play in the stories, I mean, they're multi-facet. You know, you have 3-4 sections that you have to go into, even though it's still linear. But that's how the incursions were. Like, you know, go clear out a room, come back. You know, a stolen signal was the last one that kind of like, you know, was the cherry on top.
The solution for having 8 players
Yeah.
working all together with each single player will have an important job to do during the fight while being too complicated
This
but
is,
still challenging. So it's a
this is just gonna
the
be
main
awesome,
challenge for that was more the mix
no
of
matter how you
everything
look at it.
and how we can play with the universe of the division to create something unique but still consistent with the rest of the game.
We mean when we were talking about raids before. I know a lot of people who have raided in other games before. We often attach epic moments to fantasy settings. Like there's some liberties there that you know scale things infinitely or add explosions in certain ways. But since
You
I've
know,
been
as
recruited,
pumped as I am
how do
for
you,
this raid,
from a design
I'm
perspective,
keeping my
make things feel
expectations
epic within those constraints?
lower because it is the first
the
one.
pace of the fights in
and,
general, or
you know,
the
If
look
somebody
of the
goes
bosses
in and burns
and
right
how
through it, they're gonna be like, oh, you know,
make
this
the
sucked,
players
blah blah
go
blah blah
in a
blah.
different feeling
And,
for the fight.
you
So
know,
it's all of
I'm
these
trying to take
elements
into consideration
turn
this is
fight
their
memorable.
first
Also the darks and
raid,
the view are
you know, in
great
this
help for us
series.
to
And so they might
make
think,
you remember
okay,
the
we
fight.
got this,
And so it's
we've
a-
already, you
it's
know,
a mix of everything, actually,
balanced
that,
everything to
that
where
makes
everybody's
the-
role is
the-
going
the
to be
fight for visual,
important. But like they said previously, there might be a squad that goes in there with 4 demolitionists and just blow everything up.
Cover-based. That's always
You know, and then they might have to go
Yeah,
back to
I
the
mean,
drawing board and, you know, and say, okay, what did we learn from this and tweak it for the next time. So, I mean, they don't want to make it so hard that you can't do anything. You know, it makes it frustrating, like some of these incursions in the first one, but you don't want to make it so easy so that everybody can just go in there and just blow through it. You know, like your second time, third time around.
To double everything. Sometimes you just need
And that
even
makes
less
sense.
cover than in the rest of the game, because we want the players to move more around the rooms or the different areas.
Yeah.
So that creates an interesting gameplay where the players have to be sure that they communicate well enough.
Yeah, you
and
see
they can be
that
sure
he's talking about right
good
there,
enough
moving.
enough
That's what I was talking to you
yeah,
the other
to
evening about when we went into that heroic mode.
complete what
we
they're
have to
supposed
move.
do
Like
and
we
everything.
can't just stay
So,
stationary
it's a
and
lot of
think
learning
that we're gonna
and
keep
actually
enemies in
it's,
front of
yeah,
us.
different challenges.
We gotta move around
See
the
any
quote
new
play
features
area,
in this piece
you
of
know,
code
either in a
that
clockwise or
we mentioned
counterclockwise,
to-
but as a
we
unit.
haven't really talked about
You
the
know, we
UI.
can
How do
station,
how do
take our
players
shots, take out our enemy, move,
anything
you know,
in there that we haven't seen
and
before?
not just stay stationary in
The
one
first
spot.
time you're gonna trigger the first boss battle, it's
Mhm.
gonna be an epic moment.
Yeah. Why?
Oh, it's gonna be an epic moment, the first
You'll
boss
find
battle.
out in like 16 minutes.
Yeah.
I want to.
Wow.
Okay,
A
so
little bit more than that.
confirmed. There's new UI elements that you
Yeah.
should probably want to look
New UI
Uh,
elements.
up. Yes. All right.
You heard that? New
So you see
UI
that
elements.
represents
Yeah.
about specific things, checkpoints, death and wipes.
That's
blue
all
and all that
scary.
stuff. We've got
Did he
15
say
minutes to cover all that,
checkpoints?
so let's,
I'm wondering. I
let's
didn't catch that if he
jump
said
into that in
checkpoints.
Just a second, but before we get to that, I want to talk a little bit about the things you learned from the testing of it, because we touched upon it before.
Because I think with
what are some of the
Destiny
key things
1,
that you learned
you could
from
run a
it?
raid,
Or
you had a
maybe
week
testing
to
it?
complete it, and there was an
It
actual
depends.
checkpoint.
So we did
But
a
then you would
testing
have to
with
come
the
back with the
playtest
same
to test
group.
the
So I don't know if that's something they're going to do
so
here.
with more or less random players. We tested it internally because we wanted to be sure that it was following the intention we defined. And we tested, the more we progressed with the development, the more we were recruiting hardcore players, raid players, the Division 2 players, just to be sure that what we are doing is the right thing. And the funny learning at the end of it is like when we compared probably a group of 8 of the best players of the Division 2 we had, they performed not as good as less good players individually, but they were able to play all together and to communicate well enough. And this group of less good players individually
Wow.
went almost to the end of the raid, while the first one did not achieve that.
Wow. Okay.
So
That's
communication
interesting.
is very
Communication.
important.
Okay, that's good to know. That gives me hope.
But that's how the
Because my
division
individual
is
skill is
designed.
different.
Like it's
But
tactical.
Maybe I can, I don't know, talk with people and actually get through that. I
Yeah,
don't
but a
know.
lot of people don't see it that way. And we play with people.
Well, I mean, seeing
that have
it,
seen it that way.
seeing it,
Last Friday,
and
for the
it
first
being
time, a
something
team
is
of
two
8
different things. Like,
developers
yeah,
went
okay,
to
you
the
could come
field.
in. Like last night, I was running with Mangry
Yes,
and
yes,
Ace,
developers.
and of
There are
course,
other
you know, we're
people
we're
who also
we're
test
burning
as well.
through
So the team
stuff.
in Bucharest,
You know, but
they-
we
they-
even acknowledged last night, like, hey, this is not how we're gonna be playing in the raid tomorrow. You know, you know you're gonna have to go to that tactics
we had
and get in
type
there
of,
and
teams
you know
in
use the
Bucharest.
cover
So the first one
mechanics
was
and all that
executing
other
with,
stuff.
trying
That's how the game is
break the
designed.
to find the bugs,
That's why I'm
exploit
hoping that this
everything.
raid
And the
brings
second
out
with
that it's
amazing
challenging
player
if you
profiles,
don't respect
who
the
were supposed
mechanics of
to
the game.
run the game.
If you
and
run out
try
there and you
to-
think you're like
to
Commando
finish the
Rambo,
raid
that
in
you
a
just
legit
get
way. And they
put
were
on your backside
amazing
like
players.
immediately.
Some of them were like ex-esports.
And I
Yeah,
agree.
yeah, yeah.
And
sort
that's
of, yeah.
where
And each time we came with
it
a build
comes
like,
to look
hey,
at,
it's
you know,
now
like
it's
the old
difficult,
days.
you
Who's
won't
gonna
be able
run,
to beat
who's
it.
gonna
And
run
it's like,
things.
30 minutes
Everybody
after,
has to do
yeah,
their
we did
job
it.
and do their
Yeah.
job well.
Don't expect to beat it in
You have
30
to
minutes.
No,
work with
no.
each other and use the proper
Did it take a while to
skills.
figure it out?
We'll see
Yeah,
here in
yeah,
about
so it's just
13,
when they
12
share the
minutes.
results, it's all it was always the best time they recorded. But when we discussed with them, it's like, yeah, we took a long time to go there. And so we
Oh,
had to figure out all the changes that you made, all the mechanics. And so each time we did some changes, we realized that they were failing at some point on the different fight. So
But
that's
you
cool.
completed it. It took you a long while to
Yeah,
get there, so
yeah.
it's possible.
It is.
All right, good to know.
And
Hopefully,
yeah.
All right, let's run through some of the logistics because I know a lot of people are asking what does that mean. So we talked before. You need to be level 30, World Tier 5, gear score 490. How do I get physically to the raid? There's a helipad outside.
Yeah,
as well.
so you
And
can
in this game,
either
them helicopters is
enter
always
the
crashing. It's like, nope,
below
I'll take the
area
bus.
where you can do your raid, or you can just open the social menu and you will find a red tab that lets you create your raid. From there you can invite up to 8 players and start it when you're ready. You are still in DC, you can still play. And as soon as you're 8 or enough, you can launch it, you will go to the raid, and then from there you can start playing.
Cool.
And if a player disconnects for whatever reason, you can replace him on the fly.
Okay.
It's not a big
But
deal.
you can start the raid with less than.
If you want to, yes.
All right.
What?
You can go to the raid alone if you want.
You
What?
won't be able to complete it.
Probably not.
Right.
You can start the raid
No,
with
mecha-
less than 8
mechanically,
people?
On your own, it's
Yeah.
impossible.
No matter your skill, your gear, you
Yes.
will not be able to complete it.
No.
What's the minimum mechanical amount of players?
At least for some fights, you won't be able to beat it if you're not at least 4.
Yes.
Okay, we should probably stay away. It's
What?
not too much of a spoiler, I don't think, but there's some mechanics in there that will require.
Are you telling
Right.
me me and you
I
can
think
do
it's
the raid
also
right
worth
now?
noting the heli
No,
pads
he
also
said
works
for
with
some
player right there as
mechanics,
well.
you have to be
And
at
then
least
you can be able to
4.
motivate
So at
people
least
to,
one squad.
You know, chat out.
Which I can see people,
Now you know.
you
if
know,
want to talk to
I
other people who
mean,
are going there,
balls to the wall do that. Run 4,
The
fully like
the
specced
players can
out,
either join at any time.
and figure out how to
What
run
happens
it
at the
with
end of the
4.
Once,
That's
let's say
gonna
that
be
people have
done.
completed it.
Of course.
Oh,
Where do
okay.
they go? What do they do?
So either you can go back to DC,
Alright, hold
and you
on,
will
I'll
have
be
a
back.
short
Gotta go
cinematic
boys
and
ready.
everything, or you can stay in the raid, go back to the outpost, so the first location in the raid, and from there you have a visit mode that is that lets you enjoy the level layout and the art and everything. So you have no enemies anymore, no puzzle, nothing. It's just the airport that is free for being visited.
That's good. So you can just go ahead and take photos and
Yeah,
and do
yeah.
that. But you won't be able to get any of the stuff.
T minus 9,
Nothing anymore.
20.
Spoiler free stream. So that's the start. That's the finish.
Here on
What
the
happens
East Coast,
when
it's going to be
people
at
are browsing
noon
back
that the
chains,
raid goes out into the wild.
Each time you beat something in the raid, we save it. You save your progression, and so if you leave and come back later, let's say like the day after or 2 days after, you will start from the last.
Okay, so there is a checkpoint. So when you beat
Okay.
a certain
But then with the
section,
weekly reset,
you
everything will
can
be there again.
Exactly.
check as a
There's weekly
checkpoint,
reset that,
and then there's a week to
ends
finish
over
it
the progression.
at the reset. Okay, cool.
Can we talk a little bit about
All
what
right,
happens,
that's cool.
With when your teammates go down or you wipe, when you die, obviously when you wipe, you'll go back to the last checkpoint,
Yes.
right? But in the middle of combat, what happens when someone goes down?
So for balancing reasons, we restrict the number of armor kits that the players will have. So in the main game, you have 6 armor kits. In the raid, you will have only 2. So it means that you will have to cooperate more with your mates and everything. And when a player falls down, you can revive them normally. But if they fall unconscious, you have to use a revive token. If you don't have a revive token, you can't revive your mate, and you have only 1 token per player.
So eight.
Yes.
Oh,
but
wow.
It's not 8 for the team; it's 1 per player.
Okay, but those tokens
So
are owned by
revive
the player
tokens.
who revives, not by the person who gets revived.
Yes,
so if
exactly.
I, which is highly likely, go down more than
Yeah.
once, I can be revived up to 8 times, like provided that no one else is being revived.
7 times.
7 times.
7 times, sorry.
You can
Wow.
I can't remember.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Oh.
Anyway, you understand. That leads me to restock it as well.
Oh.
I imagine that before
Wow.
combat is
Okay.
to restock
So
and
it's gonna
including other
be
kits
Yeah.
crucial to
and grenades. And,
stay up.
And everything.
okay.
Amos, you will be
Mid-combat.
able to find them in the mid combat. You can find Amos.
Just ammo, not
Yeah.
armor kits and grenades. Just ammo.
Yes.
Just ammo, no
A lot
replenishing
of people
grenades
obviously play this content to
or armor kits. 2
how
armor
does
kits
that work?
per
Okay.
person. Wow.
So we have to
What did
consider
I
2
miss?
types of loot for the raid. So there is
So
the
there's
first weekly
hold on,
completion.
let me hear what these
So each
guys are
time
saying and I'll
beat
give you the
boss in
recap.
raid, the first time weekly, you will get access to the exclusive raid loot,
Okay.
which are 3 gear set and 1 exotic weapon. So you have chances to get them. And if you beat them additional times during the same week, you won't get the exclusive loot, but you are still guaranteed to get 500 gear score loot.
Okay. Do the bosses have a defined loophole? This might be going a little bit deep, but is there across all 4
I like
bosses,
Hamish.
is it one loophole or is it dedicated?
Yeah,
So
Hamish
we
is
have
cool.
the first 3 bosses have the same sort of rewards, and the last boss has an exclusive reward table. And it's more the way we give them. But
Okay.
yeah.
It's good to know.
Mm.
Right.
So the bosses
that's
have
one of my
their
questions.
own
Also,
RNG
mid-combat
reward
is one of the things I wanted to ask.
pool
because I
table.
am guilty, like a lot of other players, of picking up loot mid-combat. Sorry, team.
Oh yeah, there is no loot at all.
Okay, nothing.
The only loot you can get is by beating the boss.
So you can focus on the fight.
Will they drop
Okay,
ammo?
that's cool.
Yes.
Okay, so
That's
Ammo,
cool. That's
medkits,
cool.
grenades
okay.
can come from the normal enemies in mid combat, but nothing else.
Crafting materials?
Nope.
Because I really need polycarbonate.
Nope.
Alright. Need to go get it.
Hamish is
Alright, that's
crazy.
good to know.
That's cool. So the focus is
what
on the
other things
fight.
do
Nobody
you do?
run
So
around trying to
there's
pick up
also
loot.
rewards as
Only the
well
bosses
for
when you
the
fight them and
there's
defeat them
unique
drop
combinations.
loot.
Oh
Somebody
yeah, Raid
mentioned
exclusive
the
vanity. Have you seen
yes.
it yet?
Yes.
Is it cool?
There is some in the trailer.
Oh, it's in the trailer. Okay. Alright.
That is cool.
For people on console
can
who like to platinum their games, there's a trophy, right?
Definitely,
Yes.
I can
People have
definitely
those
rock
platforms.
that.
And then, how many commendations do we have?
12
Cool.
commendations.
That's a lot. Can you give us a bit of a rundown of the types of commendations?
So some of them just ask you to beat the boss the normal way. and
Less than
specific
5
way.
minutes, people.
Some
The
of them
countdown
ask
is
you to
at
beat
4:55.
the boss in a specific way. So do that, don't do that.
They know
and you
what
will
they
get the patch.
They know how to
I mean,
get
I'm
the
not, I'm
excitement
just
of
making
and
And
everything.
they all come with a specific arm patch, so you can get up to 12 arm patches
Okay.
by completing those commendations.
Speaking of
That's
specific
awesome.
armor,
Yeah.
nice sequel. Thanks, Jamie. I have this one. It's a physical, real life version that will be available to the people that are in the team that are the world's
Look at
first
that, man.
to-
That's awesome.
to
World
complete,
first.
the raid. This thing's cool. I will not wear it because I will never complete the world first
Oh,
raid.
that's
I
smooth.
wouldn't
I
do
like
that.
that.
Operation
because
Dark
in the
Hours.
hard work. But yeah, there's like metallic embossed awesome patch that you can iron on and be a
Cool.
badass. And you can go anywhere in the world and people
He
will bow
said
down to
you can
That's
be a
I mean,
badass.
I would, if I saw
And people
someone
bow
who I
down to
knew
you.
and they think, "Oh, that person's a badass." There are a few other things that I think people need to know before we get in there. And I wrote down, we see the revive.
Hamish, you better hurry. You got 3.5 minutes. Let's go.
That is intended.
Brother getting hyped.
There's another thing as well that will happen when people start this experience, and there'll be no radar. Why?
No
Because I don't
radar.
want people to
Nice.
this is super
Yes,
why
I
is
like
the site
that.
turn on?
So again,
I like that.
Wow.
with the radar, because we are making a way for
Yes.
hardcore players, hardcore players are able to use the radar to just understand
like
and
that.
spot the exact moment where an enemy spawns.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't want that for the raid. We want you to focus on the fight,
Yep.
and to communicate with your mate. You can still try to work on the timers, and if you are able to understand the timers, you will understand when and where the enemies will spawn.
Yep.
But we want it to be a learning from you, and not to be like a UI tool or tips.
Sure.
That's the
Playing
tactical part of
UI.
it, brother. That's
Okay,
the
so
awareness
multiple
of the
playthroughs
play
at the
field.
same time. It's just not dynamic spawning where things will change around.
No,
Yes.
we want some element to be predictable. It's
Okay.
important for a raid.
Yeah.
But and so yeah, you can learn the pattern.
Yeah, you can learn their patterns. They gotta have certain behaviors because there's gonna be certain mechanics
Something-
involved with
right,
it.
So now people can relive what I really loved to do in GoldenEye,
Hmm.
which was turning off the radar. 'Cause I hate when people. Oh,
That's
I know
cool.
exactly where you are. Also, don't pick
This
up
is
dog.
gonna be crazy.
There is one other thing, even though it's not
That's that
mentioned
situational
often,
awareness.
we do want to make people.
So you see,
aware
so
that
you're
this
running
is
around like a
bug
lunatic.
that may happen,
You know,
and I think
you're
it's
not
important
only a
that people
detriment
know that
to
it happens,
yourself,
that there are some
but to
workarounds.
your team.
We'll talk a little bit about that before we head off. We've got 2 minutes. What is that bug?
So it's about your weapon disappearing or not dealing damage.
Okay.
We have a few occurrences of that, and we're working on fixing them as soon as possible. But if that happens to you, you have several options. Either just reload your weapon. If it's not working, swap your weapon.
Yeah, I've had to do that.
And
Swap
if
the
this
weapon.
doesn't work, you have to unequip your weapon and re-equip it.
Okay.
So we hope that this is not going to be.
Yeah, mine's has
high
worked with
sure.
swapping out the weapon
And there's this workaround.
and then swapping it back, and it'll
So
work
we-
again.
We don't think it's very common, but
No.
so people, if you are
It's only
experiencing
happened
that, make
once
sure,
to me.
On the forums that you
I think it was like the day before
Okay.
yesterday when we
feedback
was playing.
and tell us exactly what happened so we know those situations.
You hadn't done me like that.
We thought
yet.
that you should know because if it does happen, we don't want you to be confused, and that there are some workarounds. So if someone, I don't know, someone might clip it and put it up on Reddit Anyway,
Oh,
that's taking us to the
man.
end of the stream. We're in the last
Here we
minute
go,
of,
40
the countdown to
seconds
Operation
left.
Hours. Still nervous, but probably more so now.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Once
I
those
can't wait
servers
to,
open up, there's gonna be a
to,
floodgate.
go, see on the,
Man, I wish there was like 2 more heads out here. We should jump in there, Jay.
We have been helped. Thank you
I
so
with 2
much,
more people.
Shadi and Sebastian.
Thank
It's a
you.
pleasure.
I
Yeah,
know.
me
I
today.
definitely run it.
I guess it's
Oh,
time to
man.
go head over to another room over there and watch people play
Yes.
it. All right. Well, we hope that you enjoy Operation Dark Hours.
So this is gonna be the recap that you missed.
Really soon.
That we got here
15
towards the end
until that raid
was
is live, so
you
time to
got
go
8
log in
tokens.
and
Everybody
play.
has 1 token to revive
Thank you
your
again
partner if he
for
goes
the-
down.
yeah, everyone at NSU.
That's the only way that you can
Yeah.
revive
Anyone
a
who's worked on this,
teammate.
Congratulations on this
You are gonna have
so you all get
2
set.
armor
Bye.
kits instead of the usual, I think 6 or 8 that you're able to carry in the regular game. So yeah, reviving an individual when they go like down is gonna be a challenge.
Yeah, that's gonna be crazy.
Wow. Wow. All right, we're gonna be back in a minute. I'm just gonna take a quick break.
That's wow, dude. I don't know. That means all skills. Everybody's got to use something for everything.
That's well done.
I mean, see, that's wow, dude. I don't know what to say about that. You know what? We'll go ahead and fire up. The pops is on. It's 12 o'clock. I got like an hour 20. There's the patch.
All right. Well, even if we run,